The AllStar app, the #1 app in the business. UFC, Bellator, One Championship, PFL, and more. Get the app right now. Link in description. You know, when you look at your pro career so far, you've been fighting for a Fighting Alliance Championship, man. What is it about that promotion? You know, what is it about them that keeps you loyal to that promotion?
Well, I've actually been fighting there since I was an amateur, bro.
Yeah.
So before it was FAC, it was KCFA, and we fought at the Truman Memorial Center in downtown Independence. And it was a smaller venue, but it was always cool. And I was actually fighting most of the Glory guys. I was training about an hour and a half away. So I was fighting all these amateurs from Glory. I was beating them all up. I got to like 5-0 off fighting the Glory guys. And then I got a message from James that told me to pretty much get up to the gym and check it out, see how I liked it. So I went up and I checked it out, and then I just never left, bro. I just kept going back, and they always had fights ready for me. They took care of me, so that's just kind of where I made my home. It was just the easiest way for me to access competition.
How was it, the first, I don't know, for first couple of days, first couple of weeks going in there and training guys that you beat up?
Oh, it was cool. It was cool for a little bit, but like the older guys, really the vets in the room, they sharked me. They put me through the ringer. So I got beat up on for the first couple months pretty good, and then I kind of earned my place in the gym, and now I'm one of the top guys there. So it feels good to work my way up the ladder and get my respect.
At that time, did you feel like you needed that? You needed to get sharked?
Yeah, for sure. Where I was at, I just wasn't. I didn't have like the bodies, the experience. I didn't have the discipline at my previous gym. So whenever I went there and then I felt all that, I knew for sure that I had to make the move if I was going to be serious about fighting. So it was a pretty easy choice for me.
Your first two pro fights, right? You went to decision. Your last three, you'll have all first round finishes. Like, what was the shift? Like, is has there been a shift for you?
Yeah, absolutely, bro. It was like my second pro fight was probably my worst fight I've had, and I hated that fight. I won the fight, but I wasn't celebrating that fight as a win. I was crying after that fight. I was super upset with my performance, and I always looked at fighting as kind of like a sport. It was like a game, and like because I come from a wrestling background, so I'm used to like competing, and I had to realize that fighting's not a game, and that there's a violent aspect to the fight game, and I really just kind of honed into that. I've gotten comfortable getting into that right mindset for violence and hand to hand combat, and being a true martial artist. Like I've just really gotten good at getting into that headspace and being willing to risk my body to go out there and win a fight. You know what I mean? And ever since I was able to slow it down and kind of you know put the respect on fighting's name, like I've just been knocking guys out, finishing guys right off the bat. You know what I mean? So I think I kind of found my groove, and I'm just gonna keep working. You know what I mean?
So I guess that's the fight that that changed you. That was the turning point. You know what I mean, so to say.
Yeah, after my second pro fight, bro, I was starting to understand how important finishes were because I have lofty goals. You know what I mean? I want to be one of the best in the world at this one day. So just finding my groove, more experience, more times being in the back, dealing with those emotions. You kind of get used to it, and you learn how to turn those emotions into you know just pure gamemanship and being ready to go fight.
Did you feel like you started to implement more of like what you were practicing in the training room in the
Yeah,
fights after that?
absolutely, bro. I used to wrestle a lot. I used to do a lot of grappling, and which is really strange for me. I grew up grappling. It's not strange because it's low key my default. But in the gym, I'm a really high level kickboxer. Like my striking's really good. I'm really good at controlling range and controlling the pace of a fight. I'm starting to really mold my game to where I want it to be, and I've just been able to slow it down a little bit more. So going into that live setting and being able to slow it down and see the combinations, let it unfold in front of me. You know what I'm saying? I'm in there trying to outsmart these guys. So the slower it is, the more monotonous it is, the better it is for me.
Your only setback inside that cage was as an amateur back in 2020, right? And could you take us to that fight and explain how it affected you?
For sure. Ashton Kirby's the guy who beat me. I was number one in the nation as an amateur, and he was number two. So, and I wanted a big test before I turned pro, and so I knew that that was the fight to make. We had a common opponent. We both had victories over him, so I knew I was gonna end up fighting that kid for a while. And going into it, I was going through a lot of stuff outside the gym. I was in the middle of transitioning to going to Glory full time. Me and my significant other were kind of butting heads a little bit, and then like I was super intimidated of this guy. I knew I was gonna fight him for a long time. I was beat walking into the cage. Honestly, like my mind wasn't in the right place. I was nervous. I was scared, and I really didn't want to go into the cage. And then I went in and just kind of got beat up on. Just got beat up on a little bit, and I mean that was good for me. It woke me up. It was good to. I've been losing my whole life. I know what losing feels like, but it's a different kind of thing to lose a fist fight in front of everybody you know and love. So just feeling that feeling and understanding what it is and knowing that it's not going to hold me down losing a fight really did a lot for me in my mental. Whenever I go compete, I don't think about winning or losing. I just think about being the best version of me when I go in there and trying to put on a better performance than I did the time before. You know what I mean?
That mindset, right, of not thinking about winning or losing, but being your best self. Even if you do lose, would it impact you less because you knew like you did as much as you can, and there's always room for improvement, right? Like no matter how good you are, no matter if you're the champion of any division or of any promotion, there's still room to grow.
For sure. There'll always be room to grow. That's that white rabbit that I'm chasing, right? I'm chasing perfection, but I'll never get there. And I know that I'm conscious of that. For me, man, it's just about like I'm my harshest critic, so I know like I know based off of like my last performances how to judge myself. And even if I were to go lose a fight, but I know deep in my soul that I left everything that I had out there in the cage and I came up short, how could I be upset? You know what I'm saying? I tried, I failed, and back to the drawing board. I'm not going to quit fighting. You know what I mean? I'm just going to look to be better next time. That being said, I got a big fight coming up, and I'm not losing this fight. Like I'm going to go in there and compete, and I know this guy doesn't have anything for me. I'm gonna be the best Gage Young that anybody's seen yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, FAC 17. This is your first main event. Any different feelings surrounding your first headlining spot?
Nah, not at all, man. It's pretty similar to co-main. I've been fighting for a long time with this promotion. I know everybody. I'm pretty comfortable in that big arena. So, I mean, no, no different emotions. I'm getting pretty good at navigating through these emotions and checking them at the line whenever they come into my head. So I'm ready, man. I'm excited. I'm happy. My body's good. My mind's good. I'm sharp in the gym. My gas tank's good. I can go hard 15, hard 25 if I had to. I'm confident, man. I'm looking forward to going and competing next week.
Bobby Lee, what do you think of him?
He's good, man. He's tough. He used to fight 170, so he's gonna be a bigger guy. Uh, he's fought at some big organizations. He's been in there with some high level guys who have good wins over some top UFC prospects. You know what I mean? Um, he's good wrestling. He's got good striking. He's a good fighter, man. He's well rounded. It's gonna be a good test for me.
Yeah, when you look at, his experience, right? I think that's the biggest factor heading into this fight. Like you
For
said, he
sure.
fought for some big organizations. He's coming off a run with Bellator. And when you look at that and you look at the step up in competition, you know what I mean? Like how do you feel about facing that uncharted territory?
I'm excited because it's just gonna really show people and prove people that I am who I say I am. I'm the next prospect in this game. I'm the future of this game. I know that. My people that know that, but I'm really gonna remind everybody again this coming weekend why I'm that guy. You know what I mean? I'm gonna get in and experience or not. I don't think this guy's been in there with a young buck like me with as much drive as I have, as much forward momentum as I have. And he's coming off of three losses. People might see that as a bad thing, but I see that as like a dangerous thing. I think this guy has nothing to lose. I think he's coming out of the main event on a UFC Fight Pass against the undefeated prospect, and he's going to come ready to bang. and that's what I'm expecting. I'm not expecting some pushover. I'm expecting the best Bobby Lee, and I know he's gonna show up ready to fight, and that it gets me excited. Wakes me up in the morning. You know what I'm saying? Gets me to the gym. Gets me in my nerves. Gets me in my feelings. But that's what keeps me dangerous. Whenever I'm feeling this way, I usually knock people out. So I'm excited.
The last time we saw you fight was at the end of July. Did you just continue with your training? Do you even have a training camp? Nowadays, it seems like guys don't even have training camps. They just train year round, and then when they
Yeah,
have a fight, they ramp it up a little bit. That's about it.
I'm always in the gym. There's no
Mm.
off season for me. This is my full time job, so I'm always in the gym training. I could take a fight on short notice and it wouldn't matter. So I've been training. I probably took a week off after DiMaggio Smith in July and then was right back in the gym. My feet are always pretty busted up. My legs are always pretty busted up. So there's usually about a week period of time where I'm not doing much. I'm just kind of letting my body recover. But yeah, I've been training since that last fight, and we went through a couple opponents this last fight camp. I had about 5 weeks, I think, where I knew it was Bobby Lee, so I got to prepare a little bit for his style. I got to prepare for his body type. So yeah, 5 weeks is good. I could fight anybody on 5 weeks. You know what I mean?
With a few finishes in a row, like you said, momentum, that you have, and there are expectations from people that have watched you fight, right? Your friends, your fans. What are you expecting out of yourself?
I'm expecting the best version of me. I'm expecting to be comfortable. I'm expecting to be calm. I'm expecting to be dangerous at all times, but composed. Um, I want to implement my game plan. If I can follow my game plan to a T, it lets me know that I've like really reached a new level with the mental side of the game and the strategic side of the game. And I know I have the physical side. I know I have the dog in me. You can go back and watch most of my fights. You can see the dog come out sometimes. I don't like to pull him out because I like to keep things pretty, but he's there if I need him. And yeah, if all goes well, I'm expecting this to be pretty. I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make it nice. I'm gonna make it clean and hopefully get another knockout in the first.
What stage are you at in your career? Are you still at the stage where you feel like you're developing and you need a couple more fights before you go to a big organization? Because nowadays you see a lot of guys jump into the UFC, jump into the Bellators, the PFLs with 5, 6 fights. The record looks nice, but
Right.
then they flame out, right? It seems like it's
hmm
almost too early. How do you feel about your career?
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm 22 years old, and I'm kind of an in betweener. You know, I'm a smaller 55er, but I'm a bigger 45er. 45 is tough for me to make, but 55 is pretty easy. So I feel like I could just I'm not in no rush to get to the UFC. For me, it's about having staying power and knowing that I'm ready to compete in the UFC. Like I said, I want to be one of the best in the world at this one day. I'm not looking to just go in there and be, a 3 fight guy and, run one contract and I'm out. I'm not trying to be that guy. I'm trying to fight the best in the world. I'm trying to make a run at the title. So I'm not in no rush. I've already turned down one offer from the UFC. We know they're watching. We know I could make one phone call and I could be put on a short list notice or a short notice list, and I could be in the UFC in a couple months. I'm sure if I wanted to, but I'm not in no rush here. I'm still looking to get better. I feel like I'm still sharpening things outside the gym. I feel like I still got areas in my game that I need to work on, and I'm not in no rush to try and get to the big show and prove anything. But that being said, if James Krause says it's time to go, then it's time to go. I'm a soldier at the end of the day. I'm gonna listen to what the general says. So,
Is Independence that same city where they filmed Last Chance U?
I have no idea to be honest, bro. Independence
Oh
is right
man.
next to KC. It's that football show, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I never got around to watching it. I know what you're talking
Uh,
about, but I'm not
I
sure to be
think it
honest.
is. I think it is, man. Well, yeah, it's an
It could be.
interesting show, man. It's an
It could be.
interesting
I'm gonna
show.
have to check it out.
They need to do a Last Chance U at Glory MMA, man. That's what they need to do. If they did one
Man,
at
no kidding,
Independence,
bro.
why not?
No kidding,
You
man.
know,
Our room's getting
that would
good,
be
and we got a lot of big prospects coming up. Our room's
for
getting
sure, for
tough.
sure. All right, man. December 9th, FAC 17 main event. Go in the descriptions, download the AllStar app. Gage, appreciate the time, man. It's a good
Thank
chat
you,
and
sir.
all the best,
Appreciate you.
man.
Yes, sir. Thank you.